Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, and welcome to the LFC Daytrippers. It is a full-time Reds for the 11th time this season. It has finished at the Amex Community Stadium, Brighton and Hove Albion 2, Liverpool 2. I'm your host, Matt. I'm joined today by Kev O'Sullivan. Kev, how are you, my man?
I'm all right, mate. Afternoon, everyone. Hope you're all okay. Not too bad.
Yeah.
Could have been worse. Could be a lot better, but
That's right.
I'm all right. I suppose at the end of the day, how I'm feeling is a reflection of how the game was. That could have gone either way, and so could my day. My day could have gone either way, and it's still good. But at the minute, I'm all right.
Yeah, and either way, it was a fully enjoyable last 2 hours, I would have to say. I've seen some people in here saying it wasn't a very good game of football. I would disagree with that rather vociferously. I thought that was quite a fantastic game of Premier League football, as a matter of fact. So, yes, Liverpool cannot get back into winning ways after last weekend's absolute refereeing travesty against Tottenham Hotspur, but at the end of the day, it's a vast improvement on the result the last time we played Brighton in the league at their gaff, because that was one of the worst performances that you will ever see from a Jurgen Klopp Liverpool side. So we make 6 changes from the midweek game against Union Saint-Gilloise, which is completely out of my memory whatsoever. That was a boring game. If you want to talk about a boring football game, go back and rewatch the game on Thursday. We've got Allison in goal, which is good because there were some early lineups that came up that showed Adriana starting in goal. And I think if you saw that, like Kev and myself did, you had a minor heart palpitation. But luckily, at the end of the day, the main man himself, Allison Becker, was between the posts. Trent comes back in, starting in the Premier League for the first time since he picked up his injury. Matip keeps his berth alongside Virgil van Dijk. Robertson, of course, on the left. Midfield, no surprise, Szoboszlai, McAllister start. Bit of a surprise with Harvey Elliott. Up front, we pretty much don't have any other fit senior forwards, so it was always going to be Mo, Darwin, and Luis Diaz. What did you make of the Harvey Elliott and Joel Matip choices, Kev?
Matip, I wasn't surprised. Harvey surprised me a bit, but in fairness, up until today, whenever he's played this season, he's looked all right. He's looked fine, and he was fresh. So yeah, throw him in. Why not? The only thing that it did throw us a bit was it put Dominic Szoboszlai onto the left, and in the first half he was, he was one of many who just like the game passed him by. Other than that,
was he on the left though, Kev? Because I thought pretty early on it looked like we were playing with Mo and Darwin up top, with Szoboszlai forming a point of a triangle with them, playing as a 10, and it was almost a diamond midfield with Luis Diaz deep and on the left, Harvey Elliott wide and on the right, McAllister on his own in the 6, with Trent popping in there sometimes. But I was really blown away because when I saw the lineup, like first I thought Gravenberch was going to get the start. Once Jones picked up his red card, I said it on the show afterwards. I wrote it in my notes. I said, this is a big, big chance for Gravenberch to take his chance in the first team and make that left-sided 8 his spot. So seeing Elliott come in, I thought that we'd get Szoboszlai out on the left, or pardon me, that Elliott would go to the left and that Szoboszlai would play on the right, because that's what we've seen in the midweek games. When Elliott has started as the right-sided 8, when Szoboszlai came on, Elliott would move to the left side. So I thought that would happen. So I was really taken aback by seeing Elliott starting on the right, but Szoboszlai was playing basically in the middle of the park, and it didn't really work.
No. Look, when I saw the lineup, I thought, okay, 4-3-3. Szoboszlai is going to go left, Elliott go right, and front 3, and just Trent will come into midfield with a double 6, and the 2 8s will just go forward. No, we played a 4-4-2, stroke 4-4-2 diamond, and literally gave up the wings to a side who dominate playing the wings and love playing in the wings. And I just thought, first half, that just looked all kinds of wrong. It looked all kinds of wrong. No matter which way you dressed it up, for the first 20 minutes, we were holding on for dear life. We were watching them play. We were admiring their football. We couldn't get near them. And when we did have the ball, trying to play out from the back, it looked so painful. It looked so laborious trying to get out from the back, because you spent the entire season playing a certain way. And I don't mind making allowances and changing for a side like Brighton who play a specific way. You make allowances for every side that you play, but in general, you play out from the back a certain way. And we just really struggled. We really struggled to be comfortable at getting out. And, it was almost a case that whoever was going to make the first mistake was going to get punished. And I mean, the way you look at it, I was looking at it, the game was high level. Don't get me wrong. It wasn't a case that we were poor or anything like that. It was high level football. It was high level in the tactical sense that both sides were trying to impose the way they want to play on each other. And it was always going to be a case of whoever made the fewest mistakes was going to come out on top. And I mean, you get onto the first goal, and it was a car crash. It was absolutely not McAllister's fault. Alejandro makes a point there, not McAllister's fault. There was some away games where he's going to struggle in the six. We knew that. Let's hope we get Andre in January. Yeah, that's a conversation for another show. But But that first goal was all Virgil.
Yeah, they set a trap, right?
Yeah, they set a trap, and it was a three-man triangle, and they did it all through the first half because we were playing so narrow. And Virgil has the entire picture in front of him. The problem Virgil has while he's on the boat, there's no movement. Nobody's coming short. Darwin isn't, or Mo aren't spinning to go in behind. If you look at it, there's a camera angle that was shown from behind the goal. And apart from going back to the keeper and out the other side, and maybe out to Robertson and down the line, there were his options. The one option that was never on in a month of Sundays was the option he decided to take, was a hospital pass into McAllister, who never wanted the ball there in the first place. It was a horrific decision made by Virgil, and we were punished for it badly. It was a really good finish, and the finish was compounded because Alisson was out of shape because he was playing a sweeper. But Adinga took the shot early. Alisson nearly got a hand to it, but that goal is 100% all on Virgil. 100% all on Virgil.
Yeah, and it's the second time this season that we've seen that happen. As soon as that calamity happened and the ball was in the back of the net, my mind just flashed right back to the second league game of the season against Bournemouth. And it's Trent that receives a bit of a hospital pass from Virgil, but it's in virtually the exact same position on the pitch. Trent was more of the left side of the double pivot. He's facing Alisson. He's got players around him. The trap is set, and they're waiting for the pass to be played. And as soon as the pass is played, now Trent's touch is poor, and that's what allows Bournemouth to get in. In this case, Adingra just comes in and absolutely picks McAllister's pocket. And yeah, it's just like it was there to see, and you just expect better from Virgil. And I've been kind of singing Virgil's praises all season. I thought that he's been, coming back and finding his form again. And that was just, I mean, it's like you said, both the teams are playing out from the back, and it was going to come down to which team's press forced that error, and they could concede on that or could jump on that error first.
Yeah.
And it was Bournemouth, and it didn't look like we were going to be able to get close to them because I thought they passed the ball around at the back brilliantly for the first 20 minutes, very much like Spurs did last weekend, where it's like, holy crap, like we don't look like our press is getting anywhere even close to where these guys are. They didn't look like they were going to get close to ours until we absolutely gifted it to them. And yeah, like Tommy C here says, we can't keep conceding first because again, another 1-0 deficit.
Yeah, pretty sure it wasn't the plan. But at the end of the day, it was always going to be a case that, like I said, whoever made the first mistake was gonna get punished. And once they went 1-0 up, they just managed the ball. And there was flashes. There was parts in that first half where we looked really good. We looked like once we got on the ball and got through the midfield, that we could build up some play. But I never felt like that midfield playing the way it did with more so narrow gave them the kind of problems that we should have been giving them, especially with Solly Marsh playing in at left back. It was we just didn't have any natural width out on the right hand side. Coupled with Trent coming into the middle of the park, it was all too congested. It was all too frantic, and I mean, we turned them over when we got our goal, when we got the penalty. It came from a press because every time Van Bergen was playing out from the back, we were getting at them. We were not quite there, but we were there to force them to, play out from the back quicker. But the only thing that we couldn't do up until towards the end of the first half was move the ball faster. We were so laborious on the ball. And a lot of that was down to the way we set up. Yeah. We set up on a 4-4-2 with a diamond. You're limited with your options straight away. It's like you want to play the ball fast, but you can't. Yeah. You have to be deliberate with every single pass, which means you're taking a split second to be extra careful to make sure the ball gets to where it's going, especially after Virgil's fuck up. You're already 1 down. At 2-0 down, you're in serious trouble. So, we got back into it with the penalty. And the argument is, should it have been more than a penalty?
Well, you're jumping to our second goal. We're going to skip past the first one if we do that. I mean, before we get into our goals.
Well, we'll get into
before the things take a turn for a positive. I after a half an hour, I had seen enough of the formation. Like, it just clearly wasn't working. And I was questioning whether Darwin Núñez or Szoboszlai had even touched the ball yet. And you can understand maybe with Núñez because, he might be a bit isolated being at the top. But the position that Szoboszlai was in, he just wasn't affecting the game at all. He was not able to get on the ball. He wasn't, helping us transition from defense into attack. And it looked like we were going to have a real tough time stopping them from just playing around at the back and cutting through our midfield because just the space and the angles was there for him. And then all of a sudden, ball gets turned over, them playing out from the back. McAllister plays it to Szoboszlai, plays it to Diaz, plays it to Darwin. Harvey Elliott with the dummies of all dummies, and Mo Salah slots it into the back of the net. He must have gotten a shout, right? Like, Elliott must have had most screaming. Yeah.
Mo and Harvey heard a big booming Egyptian voice coming from behind. Don't you dare. Don't you expletive dare. But that was the first time that we moved the ball with pace. One touch, bang, bang, bang. Got into a position where we forced a mistake from Lewis Dunk. Dunk panic. We forced a mistake, but we moved the ball quickly.
Yeah.
And from there, it was a lovely footballing goal. Let's put it that way. It was a lovely football goal. It was probably the only football goal in the game. It was. Yeah. I'd say the one goal in the game where you look and you say, yeah, there's a bit of quality in that. And it was a lovely finish as well. He slotted that brilliantly. It was a really nice finish. Good goal. Arguably against the run of play, but you take it. And you're 1-1. You're 40 minutes gone, 5 minutes halftime, you're back in it. You're growing. You were at this stage, we were getting back into the game. If you look at the possession overall, but it's more about the possession in areas. We had a lot of the ball, but it was mainly we had a lot of the ball in our own half.
Yeah.
We didn't get into their half and work enough situations in the first half at all. It was a proper away game, really, where, you're going to suffer without the ball and you try to hit them on the break. And I don't mind doing I thought that's how we were going to approach the game, but not playing the way with the system that Klopp played in the first half. That I just thought made absolutely no sense. I just found it really weird. Especially with the amount of times you've seen Luis Diaz dropping into an almost left-sided 8 to allow Mo and Darwin play up front. I just thought it was weird. It just looked all kinds of wrong. But the goal itself was absolute quality.
Yeah, it's the formation didn't work at all. The goal comes against the run of play, and it was like the midfield is. I mean, it's kind of a self-evident truth, but your midfield is so important in terms of controlling the game and building up and winning it. And I thought our midfield was pretty anonymous up until that goal. And like you said, bang, bang, bang. All three of the midfielders are involved. All three of the forwards are involved in the build-up to the goal. Goals in the back of the net. Hey, we're doing great. I like this comment here from Sleeping Dragon. It says, smash the like button, please, chat, with a big thumbs up. Thank you very much for reminding everybody there, Sleeping Dragon. It helps. We're going to try to be quick because I know that there's a fairly important game that's getting started right now in terms of City v Arsenal. Shortly after the goal, we have a free kick. Ball goes over the top. Verbruggen and Diaz collide. I'm not going to lie. My heart was in my mouth for a second because who knows what's a red card these days. And speaking of a
Yeah.
red card these days, shortly after that collision is settled and both players are up and fine. Before we talk about it, Kev, I'm just going to read something you shared with me. This is the language from IFAB. Denying a goal or an obvious goal scoring opportunity where a player commits an offense against an opponent within their own penalty area, which denies an opponent an obvious goal scoring opportunity, and the referee awards a penalty kick. The offender is cautioned if the offense was an attempt to play the ball or a challenge for the ball. In all other circumstance, for example, holding, pulling, pushing, no possibility to play the ball, the offending player must be sent off. So they try playing out from the back. It goes horribly wrong. Darwin Núñez lays the ball off to Dominic Szoboszlai. He is pulled down by Pascal Gross, who then throws in a last-ditch, very half-hearted sliding tackle. Stonewall penalty. He doesn't get a yellow card, first off. As somebody asked if he even got a yellow card for that. He did not. Is that a red card, Kev?
Go back a couple of frames a sec, because when it happened live, I honestly thought Darwin had played it back. The way the camera was so far away, I thought, he's fucking offside. You know, and then when I seen that it was a Brighton player who played, I was like, he's on. So it's like, nailed on penalty first and foremost.
Yeah.
This is one of those times, again, a week later, you need to hear the conversation. You need to hear what the thought process is, because you just read out there, and the key word in that description, because that description is from IFAB about the new law for this year, is all other circumstances. All. So every
pushing
single one,
and pulling.
none.
And pulling is what he gave the penalty away for. Is he pulled
according
him
to
down.
Mike Dean, it's the
the
rules.
laws.
It's
the
rules. It's
yeah.
the laws. It's the law. Going to Judge Dredd, the law. Yeah, if you go strictly by the law, it should have been a red card. Yeah. You need to hear the conversation, because what happened? Yeah, he's got him by the pin of the collar, by the neck. He's like, by hook or by crook, you're going down. But he does make a sliding action to try to get his legs in front of the ball to make it look like he was blocking the shot. If that's what the description is, plus the keeper is really close, plus there's a player coming around on the cover, is it a clear scoring chance? Bear in mind, Szoboszlai is sliding along the ground to try to get a shot up. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate and be, is this what they said and saw? Because if that's what they said and saw, there's an awful lot of other things that have to happen before it's clear, straightforward chance to go. And that could be what their argument is, saying, no, it's just a penalty. And it was a genuine attempt to play the ball. But you go back to what you just said, all other circumstances. Is it a red card? People will make their own minds up. Sky are going in saying, it should have been a red. I see Mika Richards saying it should have been a red card. But I'm long enough around to know that pundits haven't a clue when they're talking about the rules of the game. So, I think if he was setting off, the Brighton fans can huff and puff, but I don't think they'd argue too much. But this is one of those ones where we need to hear what was said. Ashley's making a point there. Klopp on the gross potential red. I don't know. Don't talk to me about the rules. Fair enough. Jurgen said about a week talking about the rules.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Smart choice.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the way I think about it is I don't see how it can't be a clear goal scoring opportunity when you're, less than 6 yards out? I think he was inside the 6-yard box. The ball is there for him to play. To me, that's more of a clear goal scoring opportunity than the Isak one that Virgil got sent off for. So Virgil got sent off because it wasn't in the box, so there was no double jeopardy. So that in that case, that's a red card. Fine. We're calling that a red card. That's fine. But the wording, the examples it gives, holding, pulling, pushing, no possibility to play the ball. The touch that Szoboszlai had from the layoff from Darwin means that even though Gross puts in a very, very half-hearted sliding tackle, he had, let me quote, no possibility to play the ball. He wasn't even close. And the penalty was given for a pull. So, as far as I read it, that's 2 of the 4 examples that IFAB gives for a situation where it is, in fact, double jeopardy and he should be sent off. The fact that there's a defender on the line and that the goalie is still in the net, okay, that's fine. You can't tell me when a player has a chance to get a shot off in the 6-yard box, it's not a clear goal scoring opportunity. It just is. He's inside the frame of the goal, less than 18 feet away. That's a pretty clear opportunity. Like the XG, if he'd have gotten a shot off there, would have been pretty friggin' high. It would have been pretty friggin' high. Yeah, and so I don't see how it can't be. And so you like Sam Tandy says, it's where we need to hear the audio live. Then we can understand the decisions. Now we're just guessing at what they're thinking. And that's it
in a nutshell. That's it.
That's the problem.
It in a nutshell. Because I've been watching football for over 40 years. I don't know what handball is anymore. I don't know what a penalty is anymore. And there's certain things that happen in the game. I'm scratching my head. It's my head. And believe me, up to a few years ago, I pretty much knew the internet. I thought I had it nailed down. You know, I actually understood offside, and I'm clever. No, genuinely, I honestly thought I had it pretty much nailed down.
Comment of the night from Ashley L. Here's what they're thinking. Well done, boys. Good process. Well done, boys. Good process.
Look, it doesn't matter. It's done. I'm sure it's going to be analyzed to death and done to death over the next, 2 weeks because we're going into an international break.
Yes.
But up steps Mo and bang into the corner. Changed his way of taking penalties. Didn't rasp it. He hit it with pace, and I think the keeper kind of stuck for a fraction of a second, and then went. It was a really good. Last time when he scored a penalty, I was like, yeah, it was great that it went in. It was a fucking horrible penalty, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was right there.
Yeah, this was a really good pen, and it was into the corner, not right into the corner, but it was in enough to the corner, and it was hit with enough pace that no keeper was saving that. And we go into halftime 2-1 up, and we're like, okay,
yeah, here we go, 3-1.
It's a funny old game, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the 3-1 looks on again. The standard Liverpool concede a sloppy early goal, go down 1-0, come back and win 3-1. 3-1 was my pre-match prediction. I thought for sure we would do quite well in that. So, I mean, my thoughts at halftime, I thought it was very cagey until they scored. Terrible from Van Dijk, poor reaction from McAllister. Allison looks like he's out of position, but he was really pushing into like a right center half position when we were in possession with the ball. With Matip pushing out far right to cover Trent, with Trent's inverting, and then we're basically playing with no goalkeeper in possession. So it looks bad, but it's not really that. And then eventually our press pays off. Bart Verbruggen is no Allison in terms of playing with the ball at his feet. He's miles away.
Very good young keeper, though.
He's a good keeper, but you can just tell he doesn't have that experience and that sharpness to not make those errors that led to both of our goals. I mean, not that it was directly up to him. Halftime, we get something that every online Liverpool fan loves to see. We got a halftime substitution. Ryan Wavy Gravy Birch comes on for Harvey Elliott, and I just thought he was fantastic. I thought he did good. So well.
He was good. It allowed. We went straight to a 4-3-3. First and foremost.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Yeah, we scrapped that diamond and we went back to what was been working.
Went straight to 4-3-3. Gravenberch went on the left, Damo on the right. And look, it opened us up to giving up more chances, but it gave us so many options going the other way that we could really threaten them in a way we know how to. It was at the start of the first half, they had a really good chance. It was a ball played, I think it might have been Matoma, but it came from one side to the other, in behind Robertson. And, I just thought, okay, it's 2-1, but this ain't finishing 2-1. Adingra got in again, chopped back, got a good shot off, and Allison made a brilliant save, but my God.
Oh,
it was
heart right here.
It was panic stations, wasn't it? Because he started holding his knee.
Oh,
I thought, shit, here we go. Frank makes the point there. Robertson was very poor today. I'd go the other side of it, Frank. Yeah, Robertson wasn't brilliant by any stretch. Simon Adingra, on their right wing. He looks a right handful. He
What a
looks
game.
really, really right hand. He looks a right handful. Goal, always a constant threat. Between him and Matoma.
The pace he has.
Yeah. Look, it's easy, well and good to say, yeah, keep your red tinted glasses on and what have you. At some point, you got to look at what Brighton are doing with the wingers. Yeah, do you know what? They're very fucking good.
Yeah.
And they will open sides out. They will open us up and they will create chances. And they did. They created a few chances. But at the same time, we created the best chance of the second half with Ryan Gravenberch arriving late into the box. It was a good cross. Arrived late into the box. You have to be finishing those.
Yep.
You know,
it
was a difficult chance.
Off the bar. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a difficult chance, but he's got to get over the ball and get that on target. But other than that, it was after that chance and the changes started to come, it became a back to the walls job.
Yeah.
And I felt it was inevitable that they would get a clear-cut chance and probably take it because of the amount of quality they have on the pitch. And eventually it came from the most unlikely of methods in a set piece. We don't generally give up set piece goals. Our record with defending set pieces is generally good. And this is what I mean. The 2 goals that they had came from howling mistakes from us. Howling mistakes. And that's a frustrating thing. They were so basic. Robertson positioned badly. Lewis Dunk in the middle of the box. How nobody decided, we might want to block him off just in case Robertson fucks it up. You know, that's criminal. You know, it was just pure lazy, bad. Call it what you like. It was just poor.
Yeah.
And from start to finish, it was just bad. You know, there's no excuses for it.
I've saved a couple comments here about the tying goal. I mean, just before that, they make a couple of changes. Danny Welbeck comes on for Evan Ferguson, who I thought was completely anonymous. Not a great game from the young kid, which is fine. Well. And then Igor Julio goes down injured. John Paul Van Hecke comes on for him, who's 23, which is weird because he was playing at the under 21 Euros for the Dutch this summer. Yeah. So I didn't think he was quite that old. Before they scored, 66 minute, it's something that Chris Brack threw into the chat at the same time I was writing it down. What an interception by Trent Alexander-Arnold.
Yeah.
He did not have a huge impact on the game building up and going forward, but I thought because before the game, the big concern was Kaoru Mitoma is going to absolutely crucify Trent Alexander-Arnold, and I don't think he beat him once. I think Trent won every 1v1 against Mitoma for the entire game. I thought Trent defended very well.
Yeah, Mitoma was pretty quiet, but that one interception, that ball Mitoma played over the top. He tested that hamstring out to the nth degree to get to that ball, and he had to because they were in.
Mitoma would have been clear in on a breakaway, and Trent did his best Erling Haaland tapping at the back post impersonation to get his foot up, 7 feet in the air. It looked like. I just thought that was very good. But here's our questions for our. I'll put them to you, Kev. Justin Ulysses. Yeah. My question: why didn't Allison come out and grab the ball? So Brighton have a free kick. It's about 15 yards out from the touchline. It's on the left side of the box. Sully March whips in what is, let's be fair, an incredibly dangerous ball. Corridor of uncertainty, all the cliches you want to use, all the whip and power on it that you want. It's there to just be put home. Why didn't Allison come out and punch the ball or just catch the ball like we normally do? He was just stood there watching. Thoughts?
Everyone anticipated Robertson getting that ball. At worst, Robertson would have got a bad touch. Allison would have had to deal with a possible own goal chance. The idea that you can prejudge that kind of delivery from that close, it's not a corner. The ball comes at you faster. Yeah. So if you prejudge that, you can look like a fool really quickly. I'm not going to tell Alison Becker how to be a goalkeeper, and I'm assuming he's literally holding his position, waiting for everyone to do their jobs.
Yeah.
You know, and if the ball does get across, he's smack where he's supposed to be. You know, it's just one of them. I just think that if he comes for it, Robertson gets a touch, he's beaten on his near post. I just think Robertson, it's probably the only flaw. You know that we do it all the time. We've done it for years, where we swap fullbacks on set pieces. Trent will go on the left side, Robertson will come on the right side. The problem is always going to be there when Robertson has to clear it on his right foot.
And that's the second comment that I saved. Gary McKay, this is for the Chris Brack Memorial Despises Kostas Tsimikas fan club. But he asked if Kostas was on the pitch for the Brighton equalizer. It doesn't happen because he's a left back who can kick a football with his right foot.
It's more than likely to happen. Purely and simply, Robertson's body shape was wrong to take that on his right foot. It's as simple as that. His body needed to be slightly more open, so he could take that on his right foot and hook it away.
Yeah,
it's as simple as that. There's no point in over analyzing it. The second phase is where Van Dijk has to block Lewis Dunk. That's the danger. Lewis Dunk is the danger set piece. You have to block him off. You cannot let him run past you. The second he run past you, go.
Yeah. Well, and at least this time when Lewis Dunk scored for Brighton against Liverpool, it was when all of our players were actually paying attention and ready, because I will always remember after Alisson got a red card, or did Alisson get injured? And we were making a goalkeeper substitution, and he took a quick free kick that should never have been allowed to be taken and put the ball into the back of the net. But that's a story for another day. Just before the goal, there's a bit of a shout for handball against Virgil van Dijk. It was about the only time that Mitoma really showed his class from last season. Him and João Pedro absolutely walked through Joel Matip. Mitoma gets a shot off, hits Virgil in the thigh, bounces up onto his hand. Obviously, Brighton fans are going to scream for that. It's never going to be given as a pen. The shot's from too close, deflects off of his thigh right into his hand. His hand's in a natural position. Like, it ticks all the boxes for don't give a penalty. Don't tell that to Roberto De Zerbi, who went absolutely mental on the sidelines, picked up a yellow card, and Jurgen Klopp, forever being the peacemaker, going over and putting an arm around him and telling him to just calm down, It's all good. And then Konate comes on for Matip. Shortly thereafter, Joe Gomez comes on for Trent, and I think I saved the comment there. Yeah, Sony saying Mitoma did more against Joe Gomez than he did against Trent, and I thought that was it was not a vintage substitutes performance from Joe Gomez. When you thought that we'd be bringing him on, we made two defensive substitutions to shore it up where it's 2-1. We know they're going to be coming after us, and it didn't work. And in a season where we've all been rightly lauding Jurgen Klopp for his substitutions, he got the first one in Gravenberch for Elliott. I thought that was a fantastic sub. I thought like that really helped change the game. We got a lot more control. But these last two subs,
I don't think he had a choice in any of them, because I can't see any reason why Trent wouldn't have done the 90 if he wasn't physically capable.
Yeah, he's
still coming back from a hamstring injury. He'd done a substitute appearance against Spurs. He'd done 60, I think, against Union, and that looked like it was prearranged. The physio's medical team might have looked at it and said, "Look, you can get him for an hour, 70 at a push, but don't do any more than that." If it's a hamstring issue, the last thing you want is a reoccurrence of a hamstring problem, going into November, December. So it is what it is. I honestly thought the argument would have been to go to a back five, but saying that, the changes came with 10 minutes plus injury time to go. So,
certainly wasn't a lot of injury time added on, considering a few players down.
I don't know if the options were there. I think Matip looked like, Matip for Konate looked like it was fitness and alertness more than anything else. Trent, fitness. Was there another option on the bench that we could have gone to a back five? I don't know.
But I mean, maybe you can bring Kwanzaa on and Gomez
I
at
don't,
the same time and take off Luis Diaz or maybe Darwin Nunez at that point
yeah,
and go with,
but it's still
you know,
at 2-2. You want to go on, you need to try and win the game. And I mean, it got to a stage in the end where for the last 5 minutes, don't lose it. Whatever
yes.
happens here, at 2-2, fine. You take your licks. You're away from home, and you haven't played well. Take your licks. Take your points, and get out of Dodge.
Yeah.
It wasn't our best performance by any stretch, but
Well, I mean,
there's plenty of sides in and around the current top six are going to go to Brighton this season and lose,
yes, they
and
are.
they'll pick and they'll pick.
but regardless of their recent performances, they got absolutely mullered all over the place by Aston Villa last weekend, losing 6-1. They went down
But
real quick and easy to Marseille in midweek in the Europa League and fought that back and got a 2-2 draw for their first ever
yeah,
European point. But Brighton are still a good team. And
mm,
I just think, and somebody had said it earlier, I didn't save the comment, my apologies, but I'm going to rob it without accreditation, that we were just a bit light on the bench between the suspension to Jota, the injury to Gakpo. We didn't have that explosive change that we could bring on up front that really gave them
yeah,
something to worry about. Yeah, I think that Diaz, Darwin, and Mo were
mm,
all feeling the exertions by about the 75th, 80th minute. So, I mean, at one point, it's Szoboszlai. He gets the ball. He's breaking through the midfield. It looks like he could play Mo to his right. Instead, he finds Luis Diaz to his left. Great pass. Unbelievable vision on
yeah,
that pass. Luis gets it out of his feet. Left-footed shot. Turns out he doesn't have the best left foot in the world. Puts it a little bit wide. And then 5 minutes after they score to level the game up, Joao Pedro is completely unmarked about 12 yards
yeah,
out. And you got to, it's one of those ones, again, another cliche, but you got to at least work the keeper. You got to put it on target. And he
yeah,
puts that well over for a field goal. And then it felt like after that, pretty much after they leveled the game up, that if there was going to be a winner, it was going to be a Brighton winner, and that's
yeah.
that's tough for me to say. Mitoma grew into the game the last couple minutes. Yeah, he was absolutely giving Gomez just a nightmare. Gomez picks up a yellow card on 85 minutes after Mitoma absolutely does him in. And then that's pretty much it. Like the game kind of petered out once we got into the extra time. You start seeing Baleba going down with injury again and again and again.
Mm,
Gravenberch forced him to take a yellow card, and that was kind of it. I mean, it ended
yeah,
2-2. It was, I thought, a very exciting game. The first 20 minutes was a little, like two boxers feeling themselves out the first round of a championship fight. And
yeah.
then we got a bit of a slobber knocker for the final little bit. And both these teams are going to be good. Like, don't be surprised if both of these teams, us, obviously us, I think we're fantastic, but I can see Brighton taking points off of Manchester City. I can see Brighton taking points off of Arsenal, Tottenham. Those might
Yeah,
be the rest of the good teams in the league.
they're one of those sides that on their day they're very, very good. And they were good today. But I don't think we were anywhere near close to where we need to be. Saying that, there was a comment earlier on saying that for the start of the season, 2 draws and a loss isn't good enough. It's not ideal. But here's the thing. We're 7 points better off than we were at this stage last year after the same amount of games played. And arguably, we've played as someone made a point earlier on, we've had some tough away games, difficult games we've played. We're not in a bad spot. We're currently, as it stands, we're 3 points off Tottenham at the top of the table. Played 8, won 5, drawn 2, lost 1, scored 18, conceded 9. There's clearly work to be done. There's clearly work to be done on our shape and clearly work to be done on cutting out silly mistakes. But we're in a good spot. Overall, you look at over Jurgen Klopp's tenure at 8 years. 8 years at the club this weekend.
Today.
Yeah, we're in a really good spot as if you compare us season by season, bar the title winning season. I think we're about ahead. We're a bit ahead of where we normally are at this time of the season. So the break now, the players will go away, play. We just hope they all come back healthy, and we start again with the Merseyside derby, 12:30 on Saturday week.
Yeah, geez, shocker that we have another early kickoff after an international break. That just seems like what happens to Liverpool. Just a few other things. So far this year in the Premier League, there have been 12 teenagers that have started in Premier League game, and 12 different teenagers, and 5 of them play for Brighton. I mean, somebody said there that Brighton's recruitment department just keeps doing it again and again and again. It was, I think, Adingra and Baleba were both teenagers. Baleba with his first start today, I thought he was incredible. I thought he started going down with cramp in about the 90th minute, as you would expect, but that was deserved cramp because he put in some absolutely hard yards. So, I mean, yeah, these are good teams all around. Good on Brighton. It's hard to hate Brighton. I got no issues with Brighton.
It was one of those. I mean, it's one of those games that we have to be braver on the ball. We have to move the ball faster, and we have to work out ways of imposing our game on them. But I still think we're working on exactly what our game is, and it'll come. This is literally 8 games into a new evolution of where Liverpool are going. It's a brand new everything. McAllister today didn't have the best game, but instead of going into his shell, the last 20 minutes when he was taking the ball on the half turn and getting forward,
looks so
making things. He was making a lot of things happen. The first half in total, he was poor. You know, he was just not at it at all. You know, but second half, as the game opened up more, he started to get more time on the ball, and he was able to dictate and play passes and play people in. He improved as the game went on. We will get better. You know, 100% we'll get better, and we'll have much better results than this going forward.
I was just thinking now, Kev, and I'd have to go back and look through my lineups. I don't think we've started what at least I would call our best 11 is yet. Like,
no,
I
you rarely do.
No, but I mean, the first game of the year, Gakpo started in midfield. I don't think that's our best 11. Second game of the year, Gakpo started in midfield. Newcastle, Endo started. I don't think that's our best 11. Aston Villa, Jones maybe, but Kanate was injured. Matip played that game. That's not our best 11. Wolves, Gomez had to start at right back. Kwanzaa started at center half. That's definitely not our best 11. Bajitic started against Lask. I mean, the midweek games are obviously complete write-offs. West Ham, Gomez started at right back. That's not our best 11. So, like, I think we just had enough injuries to keep us from fielding our best 11 players in the formation that we want to play yet. So, yeah, like, we're all upset that we've now had, 5 points dropped in the last 2 games. That's not good because we're all of this mindset that Manchester City are going to put up 110 points like some unstoppable juggernaut of a team. I don't know if they are that. There's a game going on right now that it might be 17-0 to City over Arsenal right now, and I'm completely out to lunch on it. Yeah. I don't know if you need 100 points to win the league. I think that there's enough competition at the top. It used to be Liverpool and City were a 2-horse race, and you couldn't see any other team beating Man City except for us. You'd get a freak result against Southampton maybe, or Palace or Wolves or something like that, but they just seemed unbeatable. But I can see Arsenal getting points from them. I can see Spurs taking points against them. Manchester derbies are always tough. I think we can beat Man City this year. So we just need to keep the faith, keep on going. We're going to get our players back. I mean, the bench was a little thin today. Chambers was on the bench again because, again, we're missing. Bajitic was missing. Thiago was missing. Jones, Jota, Gakpo. We're missing 5 of our senior squad. We're missing off of that team today. So we didn't really have the ability to affect the game with substitutions off the bench like we normally would. Just got to take that on the chin. Away to Brighton is out of the way. Away to Newcastle's out of the way. Away to Spurs is out of the way. And Chelsea.
So,
those are 4 tough away games. And you're going to feel a lot more confident going into the return fixtures for those games in the second half of the season. So onwards and upwards. The main thing is that for some stupid reason, we're going to take another dumbass international break, which is beyond annoying. But 'tis what it is. Who was your man of the match today, Kev?
For us,
Salah.
Hard
to argue.
But it's slim pickings, let's be honest. It's Mo. 2 goals, the build-up play for the first goal was really good. Took the goal well, and the penalty took that really well. Apart from that, I just think if you're looking for an overall man of the match, it was Adingra. Adingra was very, very good. He gave Roberts an absolute nightmare. He was very, very good today. But from our perspective, Mo. But I think Mo was wasted in the first half, despite the fact that he got 2 goals. I think we really cannot play this 4-4-2 type narrow midfield and then go and invert Trent into it as well. It's just silly. It was poor. You have to have width. You have to have the option to go out wide. And when you don't, you condense the game against sides who are really good on the counter press and looking to turn you over at every opportunity. Eventually, they'll get it right, and they're straight in. So, look, I just thought first half tactically we were poor. Yeah. Other than that, like I said, we're 7 points better than what we were 12 months ago, and argue, we are a better side than what we were 12 months ago.
Yeah, so, don't kid yourself. Look at our midfielders.
And but this side will improve. This side will get better. The more it plays, the more games it plays, the better they'll get. And we just move on from here.
Yeah, exactly. This is not a team with an engine room that's at the end of its cycle on the way down. It's the exact opposite. We've had a complete rejuvenation of our midfield this year. I don't think it's possible to argue against Mo Salah as man of the match for Liverpool today. I would give an honorable mention to Trent Alexander-Arnold because, again, I thought he handled the threat of Kaoru Mitoma absolutely splendidly, regardless of what all of the online Trent can't defend brigade would have to say. And, Adingra is, my God, he is quick. But I thought Baleba playing in the 6 for Brighton was also just fantastic today. They just keep finding him again and again and again and again. But I think that's just about enough for us because there is a pretty big game going on right now, top of the table sort of clash. So everybody's going to want to get off and get to that. So on your way, please hit the like button, share the video around to everybody. If you're listening on a podcast, download afterwards, give us a 5-star rating, share it with your friends. But most importantly, help out our ladies at the Dublin GAA Club that are just about getting ready to run their Dublin City Marathon. It's got to be about a week or 2 at the absolute
26th of October, I think.
Oh, there you go. So they got 15 more days of training, and then the big day. The big
they're
day.
Done now. Training wise, done. We've actually hit the target.
Yeah, have we?
Yeah, I checked it there. I checked it at the weekend. We're over the target. We're thanks to everyone. Everyone who's contributed and shared all the way through. But the more they get, the better. They've got to their 20 grand, which is fantastic. I think last time I checked, they were on 21. But the more they get, the more they can donate. This doesn't go to individuals who are taking part. They're all giving their time and considerable time. They've been training for this for 10 months.
Yes.
So look.
Oh man, I hadn't checked the GoFundMe in a while. That's
I only checked it at the weekend just out of curiosity. But that's fantastic. So keep looking, keep sharing it, and if you can, please donate. But it's been really, really successful, and hopefully in a few weeks' time they'll run the Dublin Marathon. Keep an eye on the social media because we'll post all of the links, all of the pictures from the day on there, and well done to everyone in the chat, everyone who's contributed, everyone who's shared. Thank you all so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And for as much credit as we all get for helping push this and donating, getting them to their fundraising target, they get even more credit for training to run a bloody marathon because you couldn't pay me to do that. I can tell you that much. But as for me and Kev, this has been Full Time Reds. It has been an absolute blast. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Let's go watch the end of what is hopefully a draw where both teams kick lumps out of each other, and there's 17 red cards in the game. We can cross our fingers and hope for that. But for our Canadian friends that are out there watching, have a happy Thanksgiving weekend. Enjoy the awful, awful international break. Fatback 4 will be coming up in about 5 hours tonight, so check in and see what Gav and the lads have to say. If not, we'll see you guys all later. Adios.